Now, superfood to me is all about making great tasting food that just so happens to be good for you. Quick cooking is one thing, but I want to take it up a notch and bring you a new playbook of recipes that do just that.
I'll show you how to create easy-to-follow dishes that are perfect for your busy life.
Eating healthy doesn't have to be boring, and there's a world of flavour ready to be discovered. Sometimes you just have to jump in. These recipes are designed to work for you, and they're ready in under half an hour, with some great shortcuts that'll make cooking for the week a breeze. So if you're strapped for time,
And if the idea of eating better sounds good, I've got a serious selection of game-changing recipes.
making your food super every day.
So let's get cooking.
This time on Superfood in Minutes, I've got a selection of delectable dishes that are made in moments.
And look at this.
A speedy one-pan Sunday roast,
This is a midweek winner that's going to give your roast chicken dinner a run for its money.
and a colourful Thai beef salad that's got some serious zing. This super light version of a Sichuan classic is a vegan's delight. And I've a feast for the eyes with this elegant asparagus and scallop plate. All that and another 5-minute challenge that's going to push me to the edge.
These things have me wrecked by the end of it. Now, I love the classic dandan noodle, but I wanted to create something that's a little bit lighter and more weeknight friendly. So here comes dinner.
First things first, get the pak choi chopped into quarters and quickly blanch them in a pot of boiling water for just a few moments. Then, in another pot of boiling water, cook the ramen noodles for about 2 to 3 minutes. Grate the ginger and finely slice the spring onions at an angle. Now for the fun. Toast the Szechuan peppercorns in a hot pan for about a minute until they become nice and fragrant. Drain the noodles and get some oil into the pan on a high heat. First, fry the ginger, then add the soy mince and the peppercorns and give it all a good stir. When the mince is starting to brown, pop in the pak choi and the spring onions for a quick mix before adding the rice wine. While that steams, quickly make a dressing by combining the soy sauce, rice wine vinegar and chili oil. Serve it up in a bowl with the noodles, stir fry and some of that unctuous dressing. What a killer dish. Please, please try it tonight.
Roast chicken dinner. 3 words that hold a special place in my heart and on my kitchen table. This has all the flavours of a Sunday roast, but is ready in half the time. Just like a traditional roast chicken dinner, this recipe only requires a handful of ingredients and stuff that you probably have to hand. So I have some chicken thighs, I have some stock, I have some lemon zest, I've got some herb action, we've got potatoes, oh, and I forgot my carrots. The great thing about this simple kind of method is that once you get the hang of it, you can add in whatever vegetables you like. But I'm gonna go for some traditional ones. I've got some potatoes and some carrots. But to start this off, we need a nice hot pan. The trick to this recipe is getting that skin on the chicken thighs really crispy. And I go on about chicken thighs so much because I do love them. They're one of my favorite cuts of chicken, specifically because you get lovely, rich flavor from the bone that's in the center, but you also get this crispy skin, which is exactly what we're after now. So, little touch of oil in the pan. And season those chicken thighs really generously. The salt helps dry the moisture and will leave you with crispy skin. And now let's talk about potatoes. They are going to need a bit of cook time, so I'm going to put them in with the chicken at the same time. But I want to give them every opportunity to cook out, so just slice them in half.
Get the chicken thighs into the pan and let them cook. The potatoes go in to fill up the gaps. A quick grate of lemon zest and some seasoning with sea salt and black pepper.
Chicken is in, potatoes are in, and now it really is time to focus in on getting that chicken skin really crispy. I think when people add chicken to a pan, there's a tendency to just go in there and mix it around, but this is where the action happens. Do not move the chicken as soon as you get it in the pan, because this will ensure the time it takes to render out the fat and get gorgeously crispy skin. I've also added the potatoes in, a little bit of lemon zest, and now for some aromatics, I'm grabbing some thyme. This smell is just the smell of roast dinner for me. It's lemon, it's thyme, it's chicken. All those things come together in one pan and they're giving you those great smells of what a roast dinner should taste like. So get them straight in there. We're just gonna nuzzle in those potatoes and the thyme just to get the flavour going. And this is the moment where you need to step back, leave the pan to do the work. It's gonna take about 7 or 8 minutes just until you get really crispy skin, and we're gonna flip it and get cracking. Now just have a look at this. That little bit of time spent in the pan, not touching it and not doing anything to it, has resulted in really crispy chicken skin. So at this point, we've got lots of flavour in there, all those elements of the aromatics. You've got the lemon, the thyme, but the potatoes are also taking on quite a lot of that chicken fat that's rendering out as well. So it's time to get in there with some baby carrots. So pop them in and around the pan, give them a little shuffle in just to get them involved and coated in any of the flavours that are in there. And to this, a peppery bite from some Dijon mustard. Just dot that around the pan. And now, to allow this to cook out fully, I'm gonna add in some chicken stock. It's not enough chicken stock to come up all the way. It's just gonna give you that element of steam that's necessary to cook out the potatoes, the carrots, and really help bring together this entire dish. And as I'm shuffling in those carrots, I'm getting the mustard involved, I'm getting the sauce coming together. And at this point now, I'm gonna pop the lid on and let this cook out for about 10 minutes or so, just until the chicken is really nice and tender, and the potatoes and carrots are too.
Give the kale a quick wash and then shred the leaves straight into the pan, leaving out the thicker parts of the stalk. If it's looking dry, just add a touch more of the stock. Leave to cook for another 10 minutes.
Okay, heat off. Our kale has had time to cook out, and look at this. This is where we need to be. Now, to finish this off, a little squeeze of lemon juice. Slice that in half. And just give that a really great squeeze over the top. And this little hit of freshness, I always find with kind of braised meats and things like that, it's all about kind of elevating it right at the very last minute. And to continue that vibe, we've got some fresh flat leaf parsley. So just bundle it up and give it a rough chop. And that for me is as good as a roast chicken, done in half the time, all in the one pot. And for me, that's all you need. You can serve that straight to the table. In fact, I'm gonna give it a go. All the best elements of a roast chicken dinner, done in one pot, done in half the time, with this really different and altogether kind of fresh gravy that wraps its way around it. The little hit of parsley, all those great greens in there. This is a midweek winner that's gonna give your roast chicken dinner a run for its money. This Thai beef and mango salad has the perfect variation of textures as well as some of my favourite flavours: hot, sweet and sour.
Season the steak generously with sea salt and black pepper. Then add some oil to a smoking hot griddle pan. Gently lay the steak seasoned side down and let it cook away. Season the other side, and when those char marks are deep and golden brown, flip the steak over. When it's cooked to your liking, remove the steak from the griddle and set aside to rest. In a bowl, add some sweet chili sauce with the juice of half a lime and give it a really good mix through. Next up, strip the skin from a cucumber using a peeler. Then make long strips, avoiding the pulp from the center as much as possible. Get the strips into the sauce and grab a few carrots and do the same. For some succulent sweetness, add chunks of ripe mango. Next up, baby gem lettuce with the ends chopped off and leaves separated. For a herby hint of flavour, tear in some mint and coriander leaves. Slice the steak into thin strips and plate that sucker up. It's fresh, zingy, sweet and lip-smackingly sumptuous.
Now, I want to let you in on some of my Sunday night saviours, the sorts of things you can make up in advance, especially when life throws you a few curveballs. I was practicing that for a while.
First up, a speedy dal with a difference. Finely dice an onion and get it into a heavy bottom pan on a low heat and season. Slice and dice some garlic, ginger, and pop it in the pan with some oil. And then get in there with some chili with the seeds left in, of course. Then peel and chop a sweet potato and pop that in on top. Next, a teaspoon of turmeric, red lentils, a can of chopped tomatoes, and some stock. After a good mix through, cover and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. To finish it off, add a few handfuls of washed spinach and give a good squeeze of lemon juice. You've got yourself a super simple supper. Next, we're talking ragu. Starting with diced onions again, peel and dice a carrot, a courgette, and some garlic. Brown some beef mince, and then add a can of tomato passata and leave it to cook for 30 minutes. The last Sunday saviour is a speedy chickpea salad. Finely dice a red onion, squeeze over the juice of half a lemon, and then add a good glug of olive oil. Give it a mix and let it marinate while you toast some cumin seeds in a pan on a medium heat. When they're nice and fragrant, grind them up in a mini food processor or a mortar and pestle. Add them to the onion and the chickpeas, fresh parsley, and give it all a really good mix. Pop it into a container and it'll keep in the fridge for a couple of days. That's 3 great midweek meals that you can whip up even if you've just got a small amount of time to spare. Coming up, we are dialing up the flavour and hitting 2 more superfood and minute meals. Creamy, tender scallops with a delicate brown butter sauce.
Absolute magic.
And a 5-minute challenge that ain't gonna be easy.
I'm starting to lose my mind as I cook through this to try and get this done in time.
This is my superfood in minutes, perfect for food lovers and those of you who want delicious meals without the fuss.
Next up, a great date night dish because it looks kind of fancy and it's really quick and easy to remember. You're going to want to try my scallops with green peas and asparagus. Delicate and tasty. Now, the real beauty of this recipe comes down to its simplicity. It's a handful of ingredients. They're kind of fancy, but they are worthwhile having to hand. Asparagus, scallops, and I have my staple store-cupboard ingredient, frozen peas. These I keep bags of because they make great soup, but they also make a fantastic base for these scallops. So we're gonna get our pan on nice and hot. I've got a big pot of boiling water and I just wanna add a little bit of salt to it just so that peas cook out and will be seasoned all in one go. Right, let's talk about our asparagus and our scallops. I've got my pan on nice and hot. Add a little touch of oil. And we're gonna grab up our asparagus and just chop off the ends. Get those asparagus into the pan and we're going to season it up with some salt and pepper. While they're frying off, peas into the boiling water. Now, I love the fact that with just a few humble ingredients brought together, you get something that looks sophisticated and elegant and a little bit chefy. Now, a good little tip when you're frying off thick veggies like this, and you need to ensure that they're going to be nice and tender to the bite, is literally no more than about a tablespoon or 2 straight in the pan. And that steam and all that action is going to cook them out. And you won't be left with any liquid. It's just going to reduce right down. But it's the liquid that's going to help cook out those asparagus perfectly. So you have something that's got a bite to it, but is nice and tender. So asparagus looking good. We've got peas coming up to temperature. Let's talk about our scallops. Now, I feel like this is an ingredient that a lot of people get nervous about, but it cooks so quickly and you get left with these little morsels of sweet, tasty flesh. So, season up with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. A little butter is going to help things along in a big way in terms of flavour here. So, a generous knob of butter will go a long way. Get that straight in the pan and let that melt down. And the great thing about this is that not only your scallops going to cook in that butter, but your asparagus is going to take on the flavour, that nutty brown butter flavour, while this cooks out. So, just move those asparagus to the side of the pan. They're in a really good place right now. And we're going to take those scallops and really delicately just lay them in with the roe. Scallops in hot butter are absolute magic. Give the hands a quick wash. And this is where you have to kind of really be patient in the kitchen and keep your eye on the scallops, keep an eye on what's happening, because our peas right now are cooked all the way through. So grab up a slotted spoon. So I'm going to use half this pea mix. It's about a bag of peas, and you're going to use about half the mix in a little food processor like this. And we're going to blitz them up until we have a nice smooth puree. But I am going to keep back one or two of these cooked ones so that we can garnish, and you get that little kind of pop of sweet bite that is so wonderful about peas. And as I'm transferring these out into this food processor, I'm taking a little bit of the water that they've cooked in, because that's going to help give us that really kind of smooth, creamy puree consistency. So this should do it. I have some mint leaves, mint and peas, absolute flavour, friends. Get them in there. A few sprigs of that are going to go a long way. Give it a quick season with some salt and pepper and a very generous drizzle of some extra virgin olive oil. Now, my scallops need turning, so I'm going to pop over to there and then we'll get blitzed on the peas. Okay, back to the peas. We've got a nice drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Go the extra mile and get extra virgin olive oil. There's a peppery bite that's going to work extremely well with the sweetness of the peas. Lid on, and let's blitz. Okay, we're in business. I'm going to plate up. Look at that. Rich, green, luscious pea magic. And all from a frozen pack of peas. You'd never guess it. And we're going to get a little fancy, so a nice little swirl here. Those gorgeous peas that we saved back really gives a little pop of colour and a little bit of bite. And now it's time to build. Asparagus. Beautiful scallops. Don't forget about the mint, and lastly, a little bit of Parmesan cheese just takes this to the next level. Now this is a date night dish that's fancy, easy to remember, and totally tasty.
What a brilliant lineup of easy to make, tasty meals that are ready in a flash.
It's a stir fry today for the 5-minute meal challenge, and this is a beautiful hoisin, bok choy and celery stir fry. Really simple to make, 5 minutes on the clock, so let's get cooking. Right, first job, get that pan on nice and hot. With all these recipes, it's really important you get the heat on. Now let's talk about our ingredients. I've got some chicken, I've got some bok choy, and I've got some celery. Now, I love the combination of bok choy and celery specifically because they are really quick to cook out. So I'm just going to grab up a board for the chicken here. I just want it in nice thin little strips. So chicken breast, I'm only doing one because this is one small portion and I would not be able to get the rest of it cooked out, so we're going with it. So nice thin little strips on your chicken. And the great thing about this is just how quickly it comes together. In fact, we're going to prep up our veggies while the chicken cooks out in the pan. So straight in there with a little bit of oil into the pan. And we're going to get our chicken right the way in. Now, I'm adding it straight in the pan, no seasoning at this point because we're going to add quite a lot of sauce in here. Just spread it across the base of the pan and we're not going to move it. We're going to let it brown off and get really nice and golden. So, hands a quick wash. Now, these are my favorite kind of flavors because it's quick cooking. There are a lot of Asian store covered ingredients here that you're going to put to good use. So give that a little stir just to get things moving, and I just want a nice even brown on our chicken. We've got 3 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock, so leave that to cook out and we're going to get on with our veggies. So grab up a big knife. We're going to take about 2 or 3 stalks of this celery here, so that should do us. And celery is like an underrated vegetable in a stir fry like this. It really adds great flavour, great crunch. So nice big kind of thin slices that are going to give you bite and crunch, which is exactly what you're after. Now I have cleaned this celery, so this is pretty much good to go straight into the pan. The bok choy here, another great green, full of nutrients and a really wonderful one to add into a stir fry like this. So give that a nice fine slice, and this looks pretty good. We're going to add that straight into the pan with our chicken. Get that going. Now, bok choy, take off the ends, and then you're just going to take nice little kind of crunchy chops, because that's what I'm after. A bit of crunch, a bit of green. So give that a rough chop, and this is now ready to be added into the pan. To the pan now, which is starting to sizzle and get golden, we're going to add a little bit of ginger. So grab up the ginger, I'm gonna take a microplane grater and without peeling it, oh my goodness, it nearly fell there. Without peeling it, we're gonna get straight in there and you're gonna grate this up. Ginger is this wonderful aromatic, it's got great flavor and really brings a dish like this to life. So straight in there with as much as you can. We've got 2 minutes and 33 seconds on the clock. This is where we're building the aromatics, we're building the flavors. So a lot of that ginger's going in there. Give it a tap out and then let's get tossing. This is where a stir fry starts to come to life. Let's get in there with our bok choy. And try not to get it all over the counter. And now let's talk about the ingredients that are going to bring this together. The hoisin sauce, a really great ingredient here. This is chili oil. That's the wrong thing. Right, we need to get some soy sauce. Straight in there, about a tablespoon or so. We're going to go in there with a little bit of that hoisin sauce, which is what I was trying to get, but it was not the hoisin sauce at all. So take up about a tablespoon of that. Get it straight in there. It's this sticky umami sweetness that's going to really give great flavor. And the little secret to this stir fry, I know it sounds a bit weird, but a bit of ketchup gives you that sweetness, that tang that you're after. And now we're going to get in there with our with our spoon and get it mixed through. I'm starting to lose my mind as I cook through this to try and get this done in time. Give it a quick stir and we're looking good with 1 minute and 33 seconds on the clock. Look at that, now we're cooking. Now we've got those veggies together, the chicken is cooking out, and look at that sauce. This is where the action is at. I've got 1 minute and 22 seconds. Give it a quick mix through. And our last little ingredient in here is a touch of sesame oil. So about a teaspoon or so of this goes in. And we're gonna give that a quick stir and a quick toss. And the smell right now, it's this rich sweetness. This is where the action's at. You could serve this with noodles, you could serve this with rice, but actually more often than not, I will serve this just as it is. And it's this gorgeous plate of greens and chicken and gorgeous umami tastes from that hoisin sauce. That is pretty much it. 49 seconds to go, and you have a serious stir fry, and the sauce has just started to kind of cook out. It's bubbling and becoming really nice and viscous, and that for me is a really great way of serving up chicken. I'm gonna serve it up at this point. It should be perfectly cooked. So we're gonna grab up a spoon. We're gonna serve this straight out onto our plate. To finish this off, I have a little bit of coriander. I really love a bit of freshness. 24 seconds on the clock. You can see just how beautiful and quick and easy stir frying is. Really simple ingredients, full of flavor. And the last little touch is some coriander. My goodness, these things have me wrecked by the end of it. A little bit of coriander just over the top. And that, my friends, with 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds to go, we have a beautiful hoisin chicken stir fry. Right, let's get in there and taste some. Fresh, nutrient dense. Mouthful. Beautiful.
That's it for this series of Superfood in Minutes. We have covered a huge amount of ground, and if you've learned even just a couple of new dishes, it will all be worth it. From all of those amazing plates packed full of flavour with zero fuss, the hacks and the 5-minute meal challenge, it has been a blast. Remember, great tasting meals that are ready in a flash is easier than you think, and they can be good for you too. Happy cooking!